frozen?
Nope.
Oh, there he is. Okay,
No.
got him.
My picture that I see of myself is frozen, which is not bad, I guess.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear everybody.
Yep.
I'm not seeing
Picture.
it myself, which is, you know, not that good a view. I can see that looking in the mirror.
There's Tom. Has Mark shown up, Downey? Deal?
Bye.
I got a video
John.
review. I'm going to check out my video right now if I can. Guess I can't.
Hey, Susan, you got somebody stealing something in your kitchen behind you.
Yes, I know. He's leaving.
I'll bring him in. Let's pick on him.
Phil, did you get it figured out, Phil?
No. I'm
So
on
what
a
do you-
I'm on a tablet here and I don't see it.
And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get everybody's picture up at once.
Yeah, right now I got a telephone symbol.
Can you see yourself?
Yeah, lower right.
And you can't see anybody.
I see you right now when you're talking.
Well, what more do you need?
Somebody
So-
else.
Phil, you're in speaker view right now. So you need to change to gallery view.
Oh, where's gallery view? Switch to gallery view. Oh,
Where are you
wonderful.
trying to do those settings?
Yeah, I haven't ever used this before, so.
Hey, Dean, you might want to try the same thing to gallery view.
But I can't find any settings open here. It just says join the video or join without video.
Can you slide down and does anything pop up? Or if you click on your picture, does it pop anything up?
No, it's still spinning and saying we're waiting. I've tried starting it and restarting it.
Well, your video and audio is coming through great.
I can't see anybody, so I guess that's.
Uh-oh. There's Mark in his truck.
Yes, I'm in. What's going on, Carol?
Who's the ass?
How's everybody doing?
Doing good, Mark. How are you, man?
Doing good.
What bar are you in?
There we
My
go.
bar.
Okay, I got everybody.
Uh-oh.
So, hey, this is Tom. For anybody that is not speaking, we recommend you put your speaker on mute or your microphone on mute. If you touch your screen, you'll see the mute on the top, and you just hit that, and it'll be in red. And you can also see that it's red next to the name of the person. If you do that, it'll ensure that there's no feedback like we just had just a moment ago.
And Mary is not joining us today, so I think we have everybody, don't we?
Jason, can y'all even hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
I can't find any settings on mine, so it's just still spinning saying waiting.
Well, you're showing up.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see you. Does anybody know who the asterisk is?
That's Chris. He's recording.
Okay, that's Chris. All right. And on
Okay.
phone, we have 501 number and a 614 number.
The 501 number is Alex.
Okay.
Alex, say something.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, got it. 614.
I don't know.
That's all right. Well, shall we go ahead and start, I guess? That wasn't my class. We'll call her to order. No special presentations today. We were going to have LPGA in them, but obviously for reasons we can't. So let's just jump into if the ones that are on that did their course reports want to kind of quickly go over the course reports. I know they're not going to be in too much detail, but just kind of give an overview of how things are looking out there real quick. Susan, you want to start?
Susan,
Okay.
you're not-
Yep, I know. Okay, so out at Dogwood, I think the course looks great for this time of year. You can hardly tell we've had as much rain as we've had. They have installed some new signs around the par threes. They look great, much more professional than what we had before. And they also have painted the gold tee logos, repainted those on the cart paths. I think the team overall is doing a great job with the social distancing requirements, and slowly the golfers are being trained not to show up until 20 minutes before. So I think that's all good. The course is busy when the weather is nice. It's slow when the weather is crappy. And Brittany has a steady stream of players on nice days, some in carts, some walking. So that seems to be up quite a bit. As I look at the course, there's the water damage on number 14 where there's whenever it rains, and it just takes a little bit of rain if it's heavy, and there's a river that comes across the fairway. And that's what's causing that depression over on the left-hand side. That looks like it's coming from the other stream, but it's not. Anyway, so that's just getting larger, and of course Scott's aware of that, and eventually something may happen there, and that's about it.
Great, thanks. Have you noticed, and maybe Daryl can answer this too, but Brittany, as we'll go over the rounds later, Brittany's tremendously up, which is great. Do we know, is it beginning golf? Do we have a sense of what golfer that is?
The times I've been over there, and I have been over there quite a bit lately, it kind of is, I think a lot of people from the neighborhood come to play, as opposed to somebody driving from the Highlands, for example, over. A wide range of ages, but I would say they are typically more of the average to beginner type of golfer than they are very good golfers.
I can answer that. You're seeing a lot of golfers you can put around per membership number and see what they did last year and what they're doing this year. And about 70% of them are have played 3 times, where last year they only played once. So we're seeing a lot of that beginning golfer, and guys are getting out for the free and the $5 round. We're seeing a lot of walkers, which is pretty cool to see.
Good, excellent.
I looked at Scottsdale. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Looked at Scottsdale, spoke to Kyle. He is getting fertilizer in next week. He's going to start fertilizing, and with nice weather coming in here, he's eager to get out there and start rolling those greens, and he might make them a little bit faster and if needed, but he's doing a great job. The course I played last week is great shape. Between hole number 2 and 3, that the bridge is still being worked on, but the little path going around between 2 and 3 is not that bad of inconvenience. You're going around and you're already on number 3, not a problem there. On the clubhouse, speaking to Alex, everything is going good there. The clubhouse is pretty much shut down. Vaughn's taken all the money, selling some golf balls and gloves through the patio window. That's pretty much there in the interaction through the clubhouse they have there. Alex has set up, the carts tee times in 13-minute tee times, and he said that is working well. Everybody is it's flowing through there. The golf, as a matter of fact, it's they're playing a little bit less than 4-hour rounds, and everybody seems to be enjoying the Scottsdale golf course out there. And also wanted to tell you, just want to give thanks to, Daryl, Keith, everybody on the golf, setting up the golf, for allowing us the golf courses to play. You talk to other family members, across the United States, and they have no place, no golf courses are shut down, and just how fortunate we are. And just want to tell those guys thank you for keeping the golf courses open and make them look nice. But that's pretty much it for. So.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Good deal. Yes, definitely ditto that. I think all the golfers that are out there definitely ditto that. So, operations and maintenance, excellent job. Phil and Gary, both you had them, didn't you?
Yeah, I've talked with Hillary, and I've been out there several times at Tanyard. It's on mats, and they're self distancing. Every other mat is being used. It's been pretty heavy. The practicing, I think, with free balls and free time on people's hands, they're taking advantage of the practice range. So that seems to be going well. Balls are distributed outside on a bench, and you simply show your card through the window, and then you just pick your balls up. So operationally, I think it's going really well. They got a new ball picker. They're all excited about that as a new ball picker. I'm not sure how I get too excited about that, but they are. So they're out there picking balls.
Small, Gary.
Pardon?
Small things in life sometimes.
We had there was a sad note that one of the employees, 3-year employee, Daniel Bullock, that was a favorite of everybody on the weekends, very friendly face, passed away on suddenly from a stroke on Monday. So he'll be missed. Other than that, things I think is pretty busy. I know Hillary's still doing fittings, but she can't get any clubs in. So she can only sell what she has. The vendors aren't providing the clubs, so that that's going to be a while, but she says she's still doing fittings for players. That's it.
Good. Thanks. Bill?
Derek, can you hear me? Spencer here.
Yeah.
The clubhouse looks in good shape. It's clean and tidy. Talked to Alex today, and he says the shop just got a new shipment of apparel in, so sales should pick up when the people see the new apparel. Otherwise, it was about half of what it has been in the past. All the rain we've had out here hasn't done any significant damage to anything. All the carts, when they come in, are taken back, sanitized, washed, and cleaned, and taken back out in line for the next round of golfers. Obviously, with the hiring stoppage on maintenance, they're a little bit short of people, and they're working with what they've got. The greens were aerated yesterday and fixed up. There's a main water line on the 15th tee box that has been repaired last week. And I understand the new flag posts were to go into the hose, or at least be picked up today, put into the hose probably tomorrow with the reflective tape on it that we were going to use. I don't think that got done today because I think they just picked up the new flags. The larger ring floaters used in the hose are working well. So I think the course will be ready for play when the weather gets better. Grass is coming in fine.
Yep, good. Great, thanks, Bill.
Rob, I've been to the country club. I played there Saturday. I didn't write the report, but the greens are just great. They're really rolling. Matter of fact, a little too fast for me, but they were doing very well. The fairways, I think, are a little bit more challenged than maybe some of the other golf courses. It seems like they're not coming in quite as well. I'm sure warmer weather and a little fertilizer really help them. I know there's several sod patches out on the golf courses. If we could quadruple that many times over, that'd be a good start. Get new turf on the country club. They got new tee markers, I noticed, that are very nice. They cut a little design in them, if you've seen it, and painted white for the white tees and red for the red tees, and blue and black and whatever. So that's looks very nice. I will second those people that have said what a great job the golf committee has done getting the check-ins and the carts. And I haven't been in a clubhouse. I don't have to be an annual. I never have to go into the clubhouse. Just holler my number to somebody and they tell me what cart to take, and off I go. So I felt very safe on the golf courses, and I think the golf division deserves a lot of credit for really keeping us out there and making us feel safe. Good job.
Amen. Good job.
That's all
Thank
I have.
you.
One other thing, I don't know what, maybe Daryl knows, I don't know what they're doing with the bathroom floors, but they're not there yet anyway with them. They're a darker color, but it looks like they need another coat or something.
So let me jump on that real quick. We, like I said, last week's meeting, we had one of my employees had some leftover stuff. He owned a concrete factory old flooring deal, and we tried something different. So it is a test through the year to see if it's going to last. We just basically wanted to make it look better and had no expense to the POA for the budget, which is perfect. So we will monitor that as the season really picks up, and as the temperature warms up, we'll see what happens on that floor. And we might come and do another coat. You might change some stuff up later on, but that's our test 2 bathrooms.
Okay.
To see what we're going to do for the rest of them.
Just like maybe another coat would be more solid. It looked like it was awful bleached out in some place. I was talking mainly on the one on 14, that restroom. I didn't go into the one on between 4 and 5.
Jason, Ruth here. I have had several calls from spouses who are extremely happy that the courses are open so their other half can get out. And I've had a few from the actual golfers, but I've had more for spouses that are really thankful that everything is going well. So
Don't mention names there, Ruthie. It might embarrass some of us.
Yeah. Especially one of them on this Zoom meeting, I'm sure.
Just to follow up on that, I think that one thing I found is the golfers are pretty much united in doing whatever they need to do to keep the courses open. So whatever it is, they'll just fall right in line with that. And I think it's kind of exciting to see, actually.
Yeah, it's something new, and it's great. Absolutely.
One other comment about those tee times. I have never played such fast rounds of golf in my life in Bella Vista. I tell you, we've been playing 3-hour rounds, and we're staying on cart paths at Kingswood last week. We played 3 times last week at Kingswood, played right at 3 hours, 3 different times with the foursome walking to our ball. I've never been able to do that. And I think the 13 to 15 minute tee times in between is really the answer. It seems like it's stringing everybody out. You don't have to wait. You go out, and plus that, everybody's in their own cart. So that helps. So you drive up, you walk out and hit your ball and go that way. But it's really, play has really been a lot faster. Much more pleasurable to play.
Anything else on course reports? Nope. Keith, you want to start us off on staff reporting, please?
Yes, Phil, we took care of your speed on the greens being too quick yesterday. We punched holes, so it's a lot slower now. So you can go back and try your club tomorrow, and you'll be happy with the speed, maybe not the smoothness. I have a couple of things to talk about. One of them is the definition of minimal maintenance, and this is referring to Burksdale and what we were going to do there. And that involves, we were going to try to mow fairways around the greens, top of the tees, and everything at the same height of cut. We have already cut everything down, but we have realized already we're going to have to find a way to mow tees the conventional way and a couple of passes around greens, because I think it's going to be a little too shaggy for most people. And there may be a time coming in later when the grass starts to grow that we may have to figure out a way to fairways different from the roughs. But what that will mean is when that time comes, we will have to pick one. We'll have to pick lower cut fairways and higher roughs, or stay with what we have, because we only have a few people, so we can't run 2 machines as often. So as we see how it goes, we'll monitor it and come back to the committee with suggestions and listen to the comments we get on Burksdale. Right now, the frost that we had this morning is helping us in one way. I would never say this normally, but it's slowed the grass down. So we won't be starting mowing quite as frequently yet. So that's a plus for us. The second thing is similar maintenance adjustments due to the COVID-19. And Tammy, can you put that little thing up on the screen, please? This is something that was developed between my organization and the USGA that talks about things that we're doing. It talks about mowing and mowing frequencies. You know, we're going to mow less often in fairways. We're going to mow less often in roughs. We're going to mow tees less often, which means the heights will have to go up, so it'll appear to be a little more shaggy. We're going to try our best to maintain greens the same way we normally do throughout the year, and that's going to be our goal on greens. One of the things I found interesting on this chart, when you read it, they suggest, you know, we're only going to rake bunkers on a very unscheduled time frame. They suggest we only rake bunkers when we start seeing weeds grow in them. That might be a little far out. We'll try to stay up on them a little better, but we're going to work from the inside out. Greens first, fairways, tees second, bunkers next. That's how we're going to operate. So that's going to be the changes that we're going to make. And right now, when we don't have shotguns, we have a little more time to get out in front. Whenever we get the opportunity to go back to the regular golf as normally played here, once this pandemic has calmed down, then we're going to have to maybe reevaluate how we mow. And at that time, maybe we'll have to pick up some of the staff, because right now we are going with 6 full-time people at each facility. And that's it. No seasonals are being hired. And when I say 6, what the problem with that is, you got to remember, we always have 1 or 2 that's out for whatever reason. We also have to keep keep those under overtime. So to do any work on Saturday or Sunday for the weekend, we have to let people off during the week. So at any given day, we probably don't have any more than 4 people working on any given golf course, unless there's a special project like airification. So social distancing for my staff is not an issue. You can lose 4 people in 100 acres pretty easy. So those are kind of the ways we're going to approach it. We really don't know how it's going to work and what adjustments we're going to have to make going forward. But we will continue to work toward that. So I think right now I'd like to just stop, and these 2 things might be something that has some questions while we're talking about it. So I'm going to open it up for questions.
Keith, that document you showed on the screen, is that something that you can write an article in the weekly digest to report what we're doing, so that we don't get 1,000 questions about why is the grass different heights and mowing?
Yes, I think.
Why aren't the rakes getting raked and traps getting raked?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think I'll put something together to get it out next week, and we can go ahead and copy this probably on the webpage and maybe put a link on our Friday golf thing. So we'll try to get something in maybe by this Friday, if not next Friday for sure. So that's a good suggestion. Are there any other questions or comments? All right, well, let me go to the couple of other things. I mentioned kind of in passing that the frost this morning, and then we have another one scheduled to be pretty low on, I guess, in a couple of days. It's kind of dinged some of the bermuda grass that's come out, the taller grass. You're going to see a little off color, so it's going to slow it back down. Did not do any damage to our bermuda greens at Scottsdale or Brittany. It took the color out of them a little bit, but we have done a lot of different things there to protect them. So they're good to go. Not going to have an issue with those. I think then the only other thing I would like to report is on the projects that we have going. The removal of the bridge at Burksdale is progressing. There will be an ad placed this Sunday and the following Sunday looking for contractors. We have all the documents in place, so we will be getting contractors to send in bids so that we can get that project going. And our engineering firm, which is Burns and McDonnell, believe we'll get at least 4 bids. He's already reached out to 3 companies that have said they're going to bid. So we anticipate that bridge would be out of there by the end of May. That would be a great thing to not look at that anymore. The other major project we have going is at Scottsdale, the stabilization of the creek bank on the 2 bridges there, 2 and 4. We have almost got complete the recommendation for how to stabilize it. We're going to be using riprap and slurry concrete solution versus stack wall due to cost involved, and it will work very well for us. So once we get that, we'll go down the process of doing the advertising and going out the bid there as well. This one's a little further out. I would really expect it to be June before both bridges are open. when we get a contractor, we're going to try to suggest, and hopefully it'll be possible, that they could work on number 2 and complete it first, because that one is the biggest disruption to golf, having to do the shortcut. If we have to keep 4 closed for a little while, we can put a tee on the other side and make that work. So that is the plan for the 2 bridges, Burksdale and Scottsdale. So that in the nutshell is my report.
Thanks, Keith. Anybody have any questions for Keith?
Hey, Keith, this is Tom. Can you comment on the bike bridge on Kingswood?
Yes, the bike bridge going into Kingswood is a real big bridge. So they have got the bridge sections moved in. I believe there's 6 of them over there. In order to get that section, those sections in there, if you're playing golf over there, you'll notice they had to cut a little bit of the slope away from behind 17 green. Didn't interfere with anything for the green or irrigation, and they will put that back. They also, using that center road, they will replace and put a new car path there, it was pretty bad already. And then they'll finish cleaning up all the stuff across the fairway. They told me end of May, they felt like they would have that completed. They have not poured much concrete into the big pillar yet where the sections are going to be connected. So they still have concrete trucks having to come in and out of there, and they still have a big crane that'll have to get in there to lift the sections up. So it's a pretty big project. That is a really big bridge, and it's going to be interesting when it's done. I think it's going to really be something that will be pretty cool when it's all finished. And it's doing minimal disruption to us other than on that tee there. So I'm not worried about them cleaning it up. Matter of fact, they're one of the contractors that is going to be bidding on our removal on 18 because we feel like they're already here. They might be able to do it for less money.
You just answered one of my questions, and the 2-part question. One, disruption, minimal disruption during installation. But then to reiterate, there's been some confusion out there. There's going to be no interference with golf after it's it doesn't come into play, correct?
That bridge will not come into play. There may be, and Daryl can speak to this because I think he's seen it, and Tom and I have driven it. When you play the next hole, when you make the turn, there's an area that it's outside, it's inside the hazard stakes. In other words, it's between the hazard stakes and the creek. But there's a little section there on the left-hand side that relatively close. And obviously the biggest disruption or the biggest, I guess, interaction is going to be by the bathroom where they go between those holes there, which is, 15 and 16 and 7, 5, 6 and 7, 5 and 6, I think, right there.
All right, I'm in a meeting right now, a Zoom meeting with the golf committee.
Hit mute.
In general, I would say that it'll be that path from looking at the path plans. It'll be roughly the same as you see on Dogwood number 14, where the path comes down next to the fairway.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be.
I think it's about roughly the same as from an experience standpoint.
I don't think it'll be nearly as close, and it's not next to a tee there, so it won't be as disruptive, I don't think. Except, like I said, the challenge will be around the bathroom area over there on the end.
Gotcha. All right, thanks. Anything else for Keith? Daryl, ops.
All right. We're going to talk real quick. We can go through this. Golf rounds for end of March year to date, 18,631. Good news. We up by 1,877. That's great news through the end of March. Member rounds are up 1,222, which is awesome. I think the new pay rate's definitely helping. And then non-member rounds are up by 648. That's comparing apples to apples. Financials, it's different with all the different price structures. If you have a look on the report, we've also kind of cleaned up the whole, thanks to Tammy, the weather issues and course closings with drill and fill. So you guys can look at that and see total closure dates year to date. So that's a pretty good deal. I am enjoying seeing rounds being up for the end of March, and we've had a good April so far when it's not raining. People are out there and enjoying the golf. So we got to remember next year we got to put in deals as the Corona what are you going to say, 2 months. I don't know if rounds are up or they're down. We've got to watch that for next year, see where it's at on the forecasting.
Do we have the reports yet in our hands, or are they on the website, or?
Tammy emailed them out on Monday.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing about that, the rounds numbers is that's we're up that much with 1,250 not Birchdale rounds from last year that we didn't have this year.
I didn't get that email.
I don't think I did either.
Me either. Yep.
All right. Well, now you got to just listen to me. You can't read anything. So my pronunciation, I've got to concentrate, I guess.
I emailed it to Jason.
And he didn't get it out.
Oh, it's Jason. Okay.
All right. I'm going to move on. I want to echo everything that you guys have said about the teams out there in golf, both maintenance and operations. You know, when this rolled out a month ago, COVID-19, it was scary times. I remember Tom calling me and saying, get you guys together. I said, are we ready? And they jumped, they acted fast, we put stuff in place. And kudos to the team. I'm very proud of a team to lead them. They tell me what to do, which is great, but it's a good group. And from that, if anybody watched the governor deal yesterday, Bella Vista's golf courses were named. One of the news people actually called out that the Bella Vista 7 golf courses were still open. What's up with that? And the governor kind of said, well, they're following guidelines. Everything they're doing is on path and we're good to go. So it was a good shout out to the team, to everything up here in Benton County. And I think the golf is definitely giving some type of sanity to a lot of people and a lot of our members. I want to hit a couple things. I've been shielding a lot of phone calls on the COVID-19 and our guidelines. Some of our members think it's policy. It's really not a policy. Policy comes from the board. It's a guideline that we've implemented. So you got to remember that as well. You can only guide the people to follow that stipulation. If they veer from it, that's on them. One of them is that we're having a couple, not issues with, but people are taking pictures and sending to me and going, hey, what's going on here? That is the one person per cart rule. We are seeing a lot, not a lot, but we are seeing some younger generation riding together. And you got to realize that that could be brother and brother that are now home from college because they're not at college anymore. So they're at home, they're quarantined together, so they're riding together. Husbands and wives can ride together. Nowadays, husbands and husbands can ride together. But just remember that when you see two people in a car, they have been told that we suggest you ride single carts. And they said, no, we stay in the same house. We rode here together. We good. And then they go and do what they want to do. So that's one of the things that our members need to realize, that it's not a policy. It's a guideline. The other one is the 13-minute tee times. We implemented the 13-minute tee times so we had enough golf carts for single riders to come around. So by the time somebody comes off, we got another golf cart 20 minutes before their tee time and they can roll. I've had a couple groups reach out to me and say, the group behind me is not staying 13 minutes behind me. Well, that's not what the policy or the guideline is. You're going to run up to somebody for slow play. You got a twosome, you got threesomes. The tee time deal, if you stay at 13 minutes on number one, by the time the round ends, you're not going to be 13 minutes apart. You shouldn't be. It's almost impossible to do. So I want my membership to realize that, but it does speed up play, and it helps everybody keep their social distancing. I actually did tell the member, I said, well, did they get 6 yards from me, 6 feet from me? And he goes, no. And I said, well, good, because that would have been a safety issue. And he just kind of laughed. I said, he's back 100 yards behind you, so you're safe, okay? So we kind of cleared that up. Those are our two biggest things we've seen. Disinfectant's good. The other thing that's really taking a hit is our pro shops. And as Dean said, Dean hasn't been into a pro shop in a while. So we're missing your money, Dean. We need you to buy golf balls, gloves, and hats. Come on now.
I'm waiting on a check.
Okay. So Leslie in the pro shops, I mean, we were leaps and bounds. We were rolling, and it really hurt her numbers. We've got new product in there. We've had to push off the product and some of the second order that's coming in just because we're going to have too much product in the pro shops. Remember, you can call into the pro shop if you need golf balls and gloves. We'll get it ready for you. And when you come in, we check you in, you can pay for it. But we have stopped trying on clothes, trying on shoes, because if you try it on, the guy behind you could come in, try it on, and it's not safe. The other thing is you can't disinfect them. So you spray it, you'll change the color of a purple shirt will turn pink. So Alex's jacket would be pink after he gets disinfected. But those are kind of the things that we're looking at. Going back to Dean on the 13-minute tee times, Dean, it works really good right now, but when that heat comes in, it's going to hit us hard because everybody wants to play in the morning.
Right.
So we will go back to 8-minute tee times for tee sheet yield and keeping everybody playing during the cool times. I do recommend, and maybe, the pros and I have all been talking about how this COVID-19 has taught a lot of people on our side and on our membership side, if you stick to your tee time and you tee off, it'll be all right. Our biggest issue that we have when we go to the 8-minute tee times, when it's predicted to be 85, 90 degrees, is they get there an hour before and they jump and they go early. So before you know it, they're off the tee box, which causes a jam before. I do like the 20 minutes before your tee time showing up. That does help. So that way people aren't sitting for an hour and then they jump. So maybe this COVID-19 has really taught operations as well as our membership a little bit. It's like, okay, your tee time is this. We don't have starters down there. If you go to other courses that have starters, they don't have as many jams out on the golf course. And that's kind of what we're looking at. So we're learning as well as our membership. So I think it's a good thing. I'm going to stop there. Anybody got any questions on COVID-19 and what the golf ops are doing for me?
Well,
I like
I
your 20-minute deal, but I noticed most of the courses are following that. But today I know we went off early. And if you're spacing yourself so you don't get there until 20 minutes before your tee time, and then they said go off 20 minutes early, you're sort of out of place, or you feel like you've let the group down. So I don't know. That's the only problem I've seen, but I like the spacing, 20-minute spacing.
We have had that. So especially the last couple of days, we've had a couple of golf groups that have minimized their numbers the night before. So to reiterate, to tell you guys that play today that you're now moving up 20 minutes early, that they dropped out, we can't reach out to you within the 24 hours. So there's a little bit of, when you show up, the golf group before you, because it was cool this morning, they canceled. And that sped everybody up a little bit. But you can go according to your tee times unless it's open.
Okay.
I stick to the 13 minutes apart.
That's understandable.
Yep. Anything
Yeah.
else?
Daryl, it's Mary Sinkus.
Hey, Mary.
We're taking the temperature of all the golfers before any golfers that want to go in the pro shop, right?
No, we're checking our staff for that. But as far as the pro shops, we asking them, have you had a fever? Have you not? That's a screening. And we've got signs up everywhere following the guidelines. And if they say they do, they're not allowed in. Otherwise, really, Mary, we haven't had lines in our pro shops at all. We put down blue tape and crosses where to stand 6 feet apart. And I've been around for the last 2 weeks, and Alex will vet this. Maximum people we've had, a guy behind the counter and a guy checking in, maybe one standing at the door waiting, ready to come in. But there's no lines anywhere, and we don't screen them with a thermometer. We would have to disinfect that in gloves, and we don't have the staff to do that.
Mary,
how about the employees?
The employees, we're screening all our employees before they start work, and if anybody's sick, they're sent straight back home. Tom?
Okay. Thanks.
Mary, we tried to order a bunch of thermometers, and they're out for an extended period.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
So my husband uses a heat gun to take ours.
Daryl, how have the annual memberships coming along? Are we back to where we were last year? Because you mentioned in February that the annual membership registrations were down because people were waiting for the 2020 plan. Are we picking it back up?
I spoke to Coleman Monday, and it is coming in slowly. We're having a little bit of a lag now that COVID has kind of kicked in. We've got a lot of people that have quarantined themselves, some annual golfers that aren't even playing. So they're waiting for this to pass. We're catching up, but a lot of them, they can't go into membership services. So a lot of them are online, and that's hurting a little bit as well. So hopefully once we get everything open, we'll get some of them coming in. But it's still dragging just a little bit on the numbers.
Do you think that because we reduced the green fees substantially, that we're having some of the annuals are converting over just to paying green fees? You're going to get some losses there, I would imagine.
Yeah, but we're also going to gain some because our annuals went down by a percentage as well. I spoke to a young couple that they've got annuals now because it's under $2,000 by the time it's said and done for one person. Mm-hmm. So you win some, you lose some, Gary, and that's kind of where it is. I think once COVID-19 finishes and people can get out, we had a gentleman that wanted his annual so bad, but he doesn't have a computer, doesn't have anything, and he can't do it. So we tell him to come to Golf Ops, and we ran it for him right there, and we ran it up, and now he's back and active. And we're finding out that's kind of where it is. If your annual was up this month, a lot of them are going to wait till next month to revamp because they've actually quarantined themselves in the house.
What's this? Oh, go ahead.
I was just asking, how do you go? This is Jerry. How do you go about getting the booklet of past 10 set fees for guests?
10 play prepay.
Yeah, the prepays.
10 play prepay. Just call membership services or do it online. Either one of them will take care of it. It is done via credit card, Jerry.
Okay, I've had a lot of people say that they don't know anything about that. They heard about it and then it kind of got dropped and they've never seen anything else about it.
Might be something we should advertise.
Email. Yeah, it needs to be put out there.
I'll look into it. It is online and stuff, but I'll see if we can do a blurb on Golf Update.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. What's the status of the APT?
I'm getting to that's next on the agenda after we finish with COVID-19. Anybody else got questions on COVID-19?
When's it going to be over? Just kidding.
That's a $1 question. All right. One thing on that real quick is we're going to take safety first on that when it eventually opens. So I'm going to ask all membership and you guys to be patient with my team once we get a date and we roll into it. And Keith guys making sure that safety first. We're not going to just, woohoo, it's open and we go crazy. We're going to make sure it's all controlled and well thought of as we roll it out, just like we thought of it when we implemented all the guidelines. So we'll go from there. All right, moving on to APT. We had a phone call last week, Charlie, Tom, myself, Gary, and we kind of, the foundation wanted to know where we stood with the APT, and Gary kind of said some stuff that was straight and said, all right, here's where we are with the APT. We're looking to open the tour middle May. Whether that event will be a full event with volunteers and spectators or just a reduced for the golf players to play, because right now the players all sitting home ready to go. They antsy. That's their livelihood. That's what they want to do. There's a couple mini tours going on around the country just so people can make money, the players can make money. So they starting their tour unless something happens mid-May, and that will put ours still on time in June. We are going to stick with our date in June. We will be the 5th event, and it's on a perfect schedule coming down from Kansas down to us and down to Oklahoma. Yeah, the committee asked if they could reschedule it later on the year to September. It doesn't fit the players' schedule. That's number one. And two, you have Q school that starts in September. Qualifying school is one of the biggest things that these players work all year to get. so they can have the card for the next year. So we're going to stick with our date. We're going to do what we need to do. If we need to adjust pro-am events or certain things, we will when it comes closer. Gary's working and his team are working 30 days out as far as making a call on what we need to do. So we're going to have another meeting early May, and then we'll have another meeting mid-May, which will give us 30 days out. But it's a go. The date is locked in. We just got to keep, pressing, getting stuff where we need to go. But they're excited about it. Gary's expecting a full field, as the players are really excited to get out. Any questions on that, Gary?
No, that's fine. I just I get some of my the housing residents that house the players are kind of holding back.
Okay, so
what's going to happen.
Good question. I didn't have that down, but I did get the answer on that too. And I figured Charlie would reach out to you. But on that, right now for their first event, they're not hosting anybody because of the COVID-19. But by June 22nd, if it's all cleared up, it will. If your housing people are comfortable, they'll be all right. But the APT will determine that. They're the ones that make the call on that.
Yeah, I basically have told them that the APT is reviewing it almost on a weekly basis. So we'll know more as we go forward here. But we do have about 19 or 20 residents have already committed. I think only about 3 or 4 haven't committed that have denied. And I'm planning to go out and try to solicit some more residents to volunteer. So if anybody here on the call wants to volunteer their home for a player, just drop me a line. You'll see some correspondence from me in the next week or 2 about it. But
great.
It's a good deal.
Yes, Ruth.
We are also holding off on volunteers until early May. I think that's plenty of time to get going, but I don't want to get started and then back out and come back, etc. So it's easier to wait. We pretty well know the clientele we're talking about, and so we'll be okay to wait till actually mid-May before we have to go full blast. So we're still with you. It's just a matter of waiting till it comes closer.
That's perfect. And Alex is going to talk about the tournaments here in a minute. Anything else on the APT? All right, let's move on to
just one more question. If for some reason it's not going to go as scheduled, have we given them any ballpark dates that we can reschedule it, or is it just going to be canceled?
Like I said, it's a go, Gary. It's a go. Yeah. And if something comes up on the APT side, because we've got a contract with them, on the APT, they would have to cancel. So if, the president comes out and says no events, whatever, through July, well, then we would have to cancel. Like I said, it is a go. Even on their first event, they are just scaling back what they can do, because this is the player's livelihood, and we're staying on those dates, and we will know 30 days out where we stand.
You know when they're starting the PGA and the LPGA?
LPGA starts 2 weeks before that is what they have right now, and the PGA is about the same date. So you're looking at late May is where they're all starting, is what they have on their calendar right now.
I think it's late June, actually.
Late June on which one?
Late June. For starting the PGA and LPGA, the first LPGA event will be the Walmart Northwest Arkansas.
And I think
PGA starts back June the 22nd.
That's the week of the APT, and the LPGA is right before the APT. So yeah, that's perfect. So we're rocking and rolling on that part. Now we do have some sad news on Golf Fest. The vendors reached out to us on Golf Fest. We rescheduled Golf Fest to June 6th, and the vendors reached out to us last week and said no multi-vendor days for 2020 due to COVID-19. So what we're going to do is Callaway has locked in on June 6th. We're going to have a Golf Fest, but it's going to be one big vendor. That's our biggest vendor with the biggest product. They're coming in, setting up. We're going to do it. So I'm going to say, guys, volunteers are not needed, but please come down and visit and hang out, and that'll be great. After that, all we're going to do is you'll start seeing actually coming out on Friday with all the pros is custom fittings, one-on-one custom fittings with all the four of us, Alex, Hillary, Gavin, and myself. And we're going to make up those fittings, make it more one-on-one personal, and we'll start that going. So there will be no big golf multi-vendor day fest for 2020, but we will get it back in 2021. All the vendors apologized and said, look, we're sorry, but this comes from corporate straight down. They don't want to have multi-gatherings with everybody going on with the golf, with COVID-19. So June 6th, mark it on your calendar. We will still have Callaway there, and we'll have some fun no matter what, whatever we can do. Hopefully the weather will be good. And that's all I have got. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
Alex.
Okay. So our tournament schedule is obviously changing quite a bit. We've had to push back all of our POA and outside events right now back to about the first week of May. Haven't had to cancel anything so far with the exception of the Lads and Lassies that was scheduled for the first weekend in May. But everything else we've pushed back into the summertime and in the early fall, and there may be a lot more to come. So no cancellations yet, but lots of rescheduling going on. We will most likely will have to cancel something just kind of depending on how long this COVID-19 stuff lasts. You know, the more that we have to push things back, the more we're going to run out of available days and available courses and things of that nature. So so our thinking of as far as what we have to cancel and keep goes, we're going to try our best to keep any POA event that is like a fundraising event, like the Folds of Honor and the Alzheimer's and the Rally in Pink and things like that. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that we host those. Thankfully, most of those are already scheduled in the summertime and in the early fall anyway, so I think we're in pretty good shape with all that stuff. But really, we're just holding everything back. Everything's ready to go. We still are taking signups for the two-man summer series, which would be just regular tee times, kind of make your own matches. That would be starting as early as May the 1st. Still waiting on some more signups for that, but we've got about 10 more days to get as many signed up for that as we can, but we're still going forward with that event.
Do you know how many?
So no real changes, just in a big holding pattern, waiting to see how long this lasts out. And as soon as we get, as soon as we know a little bit more, we'll have an updated schedule and we'll reschedule as much as possible for later on in the season.
So the two-man event, what's the field limit on that?
Well, we're not going to get to the field limit right now. A perfect bracket would be 32 teams. Right. We're still short of that. I'd like to at least get to 16. If we get to 16, we could have a nice little event. But right now, no one's really signing up for anything. You know, we've got the next tournament that's actually on the schedule is the couples spring mixer in the middle of May, like May 16th and 17th. And nobody's really signing up for stuff as of right now. Everybody's kind of waiting to see what's going on. So sign up for everything, the two-man summer series, the couples event, all that's been pretty slow as of right now.
Gary, have you signed up for the two-man summer series?
I have.
Awesome.
Yep, you have.
I think
you are in.
I think I was the first guy to sign up, wasn't I, Alex?
You are number one on the list, yeah.
That's awesome.
Round by Mark.
Good. Yep. Jason, we're in, aren't we?
You're in.
All right.
Lacking for the 16. How many do you have?
Come back on that, Jason. We can hear you.
How many do you have, Alex, now? I mean, how many would make the 16? You're not listening.
Yeah.
We got internet issues at Highlands. Uh-oh, he's going to the bathroom.
There you go.
Not only muted, not video.
There you go.
There he is.
You're back. You're back.
Okay. What do the numbers look like? What do we
Alex.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Do we need to pound to get a few more teams?
Pardon me?
We'll talk later.
How many teams do you have? You can't hear us.
For the 2-man?
Yes.
Yes.
4.
Okay. So it looks like it's Jason and I and Mark and Bill Albert are going to play that first match. We could do that.
Might be.
You better bring your A game.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Alex?
Nope. Hey, Jason, can I have, I forgot one thing, and it's a positive on the Audubon certification at Burksdale. There's 7 total categories, and Wendy's completed all 7. She just completed the last 2, which are chemical use restrictions and safety and outreach. And it's got water quality, a lot of different things they do. Bottom line is they need to do a site visit, and then we will be officially certified as an Audubon sanctuary golf course. The site visits obviously will be later in the year, but I think it's a very positive thing. And when we get where we can have the site visit, we're going to promote that pretty heavily because Wendy did a lot of work on it. And I think it's a very good promotion for what we do here at Bella Vista on the golf courses.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely keep us updated and we'll figure something out when that certification gets done. That's great, Keith.
Jason, one of my phone calls during his meeting was from Greg Jones, who said the Bermuda grass on the Highlands was where it's supposed to be in growth on April the 15th. So quelch all rumors where it's not where it's supposed to be.
Say the last part of that, Phil.
He said, just tell everybody it's where it's supposed to be for April the 15th.
Gotcha. Cool.
In case somebody asks.
Good. All right, Tom.
All right. Well, I want to thank Keith for earlier setting expectations for the golf playing conditions because of the COVID-19 situation. They're going to be a little bit different, but we also know that Keith and his team are awesome. They're going to do the best they can with the conditions that we have at hand. Also, Daryl mentioned the comments from the governor. I was very pleased that the governor had looked into it and determined that we were doing everything that we were supposed to be doing, and the golf courses remain open. He also commented, rightly so, that the restaurants are closed, but they're open for pickup. On Easter, we serve 250 meals, Easter meals. We sold out, wow. So that was really fantastic. Yesterday, when I was leaving at 5:30 or something like that at the country club, there was a line backed up to get for people to get their meal at the country club. So that was really, really nice. Really appreciate the cooperation of the golfers with the social distancing. If we had a bunch of violations, that would make Daryl and his team, their job much, much harder. Gary, you were asking about signups and golf and activity cards. You didn't reference that, but it's really hard to say how much of an impact the COVID situation is having. I can tell you this: in the month of March, we sold 1,000 more activity cards than we did photo ID cards the previous year. So we have a lot of people really, and that's with the fitness centers being closed for right now. So how much more would it have been if the fitness centers were open and everything was at 100%? Total guess. I mean, it would be more, but who knows how much more. Carmen and her team are doing a fantastic job. Just about everything that you can possibly do, they can do online. So that's really good. The team's really pulling together during this tough time, and just make sure you hopefully I can encourage you to patronize our restaurants and give our servers big tips to keep them employed. And that's all I had to say.
Excellent. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, kudos to the other groups and committees and Joan and her group with the online fitness. I do it every morning, right? Everything you're doing and everything the POA is doing is pretty awesome. I know Wheel Stickman did online last night at Bovis. It was one of my wives because we ate there last night. Good stuff. Board liaisons: Brandon Berg, Mary Welchel, Jerry. Any of you guys have clues?
No, I'm good.
Nothing from me.
Dave Welchel here. Nothing from me. Everything sounds really good. I'm really impressed and proud of what our team is doing. You know, I've been out there playing myself, and the place is in great shape. So we can't ask for anything more.
Right. Well, I believe that is all. There's really no old business. There's no new business.
We got old business. Jason, we got old business real quick.
Yep.
You ready for some old business?
Ready.
Highlands yardage stakes. We took them out for the month. It's been a month and a week. All right, month and a week. And Alex will clarify, the first week we had one guy come in and go, "Hey, what happened out there? Something's missing." One person. Has anybody heard anything on the committee that was kind of the challenge? We're not going to do a challenge for this rest of this month. The challenge is to stay healthy. But has anybody heard anything from the Highlands yardage stakes?
No.
I played one week, and it was hole 4 before I realized that I completely forgot. Of course, you know, but it was hole 4.
Yeah. I don't think anybody notices they're gone.
I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah. Might as well let's try another course.
Phil, you muted. Phil, if you want to talk, you got to unmute.
That's what Dee does to him all the time, mutes him.
Surprised I took my mobile off. I had a couple of people ask me why there's only one yardage marker on one side, and I said, because we took the other side out. You don't need it. They looked at me and said, okay, that's good.
Do we want to do another course, or do we want to? How do you want to? I think the test was successful. Does anybody disagree with that?
I don't.
Do we want to do another course and see what happens, or just?
Jason, I think we ought to take them all out to be uniform. We're not taking up the block till the end of the year, so if somebody says we need to go back, we can, and it won't be disruptive at all.
So just go ahead and yank them out of the rest of one side out of the rest of the courses.
Do we need a motion for that?
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay. I so move that we remove the cart side yardage markers from all the courses.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That'd be.
Nope. I have a question for Daryl. Daryl, any plans to rate the yellow tees at Highland?
Yes. They were actually on the schedule to come in this June. That has been waived till next year. The yellow tees actually on Highlands are really close to where the blues used to be last year. So we need to get a rating team out there. Arkansas rating team has been disbanded, but I did have somebody on the schedule. As soon as they get ramped up, they will be in here to do it. I'm just waiting on a team. We just can't do it ourselves. We've got to get USGA in.
Is that through the Arkansas Golf Association, or what's that through?
Yeah, so Arkansas Golf Association have a team that has been disbanded for the last couple of years. I reached out to USGA to get them in, and then you got to pay them to come in and put them up and all that type of stuff. And they said they're not doing anything until later part of this year, if anything at all. So we just got to wait and see what they're going to do.
Good.
I have one more thing. It's a personal thing. A good friend of ours that actually Daryl was teaching how to play golf. Wes had played a year, maybe, D?
Who?
Daryl, Wes.
Yes.
Great guy, just a good guy. And so Daryl's taught him some golf, and he's ate up with it. And he was playing at Knoll last weekend and got a hole in one. He's only been playing for a year and a half. So I was ecstatic for him. I know Daryl was too. So he's a good guy. And if you see him out here, he'll have boots on and nice shorts and a nice shirt. He's a good guy. So we're happy for him. Anything else? As Ms. Ruth would say, for the good of the cause. Next meeting, hopefully, we'll have it at the boardroom where we can all bump elbows instead of shake hands and all that good stuff. We'll be
Good luck on that.
Yeah, the 13th at 4:30, but we got a TBD, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
There's nothing else?
Thank you, everybody.
Stand adjourned. Everybody stay safe.
Stay safe.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.